This is Nightline and I'm Liyana Hassanel. News making the headlines. Omicron surge. Malaysia is still on the right track, says Health Minister. And employers should cooperate with government to tackle Omicron wave. Good morning. As the nation's new COVID-19 cases breached the 11,000 mark, the Health Minister on Monday assured the people that Malaysia is on the right track in managing the Omicron surge. At a media conference, Khairy Jamaluddin said with a high vaccination rate, booster shots underway, and serious cases and death rate at low levels, Malaysia is now better prepared compared with the earlier stages of the pandemic. On Monday, the Health Ministry reported 11,034 COVID-19 cases. It was an increase from the 10,089 cases reported the previous day and 9,117 on Saturday. The last time new infections numbered more than 11,000 was on October 1st, 2021, when the country recorded 11,889 cases.
So it is principally because of the highly transmissible variant that is Omicron. But of course, the exponential rise that you saw in the last 2 weeks is due to social mobility and the fact that we couldn't slow it down anymore. There are only so many tactical moves that I had left after Umrah, border control, digital trackers. I tried to slow it down as much as possible. Of course, it comes to a stage where it's just in the community. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Kementerian Kesihatan surrender, saying that there's nothing we can do about it. Of course there is, and that's why we've encouraged work from home, encouraged the boosters, made sure our health capacity is ready if there is a surge. These are things that we can do, because what is the option? The option is to curb mobility, and as we've all agreed, there's consensus nationally that should be the last option. I don't think we can afford curbing mobility anymore, let alone having anything close to or approximating a lockdown. So what we have to try to do now is to balance the public health priorities together with economic recovery and also people's livelihoods and people's mental well-being. So our view right now and the policy of Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia in mitigation is to ensure that as long as the public health system is not inundated, is not paralyzed, and is not even close to collapse, then we can deal with the Omicron wave with the strategy and tactics that I have announced today.
The strategy would include the reactivation of the National Response Task Force to address manpower issues to handle any rise in COVID-19 hospitalization cases. The Health Minister also disclosed that there were 3.5 million Sinovac vaccine recipients in the country who did not want to receive the Pfizer or AstraZeneca booster shot. As vaccination and booster shot are key to preventing complications from COVID-19, Khairy announced this strategy to tackle the issue.
For now, we give them the choice. Tapi dengan syarat, saya dah usahakan selama 2 bulan dah pujuk mereka untuk dapat Pfizer, pujuk mereka dapat AstraZeneca. Tapi tak nak juga. Okeylah. Saya rasa dengan gelombang Omicron, it's time. You want to take Sinovac, although we say it's not as effective, take Sinovac. But you should know that Kementerian Kesihatan dah maklumkan bahawa we recommend Pfizer and AstraZeneca as the booster dose.
As for senior citizens above 60 years of age who have yet to receive their booster jab, Khairy advised them to walk in to do so. And that's without delay. Failing to do so, their current vaccination status will cease by March 1st, and they will be categorized as unvaccinated. The Health Minister also announced more strategies to manage the Omicron surge, and this is the government's message to employers.
Saya pun telah bincang perkara ini dengan Menteri Kewangan pagi tadi, dan kami telah setuju bahawa buat masa ini kerajaan sangat menggalakkan dan mengalu-alukan pihak majikan di mana sesuai dan di mana dibolehkan untuk meneruskan amalan bekerja dari rumah, work from home, atau melaksanakan sistem penggiliran kehadiran pejabat dalam usaha kita mewujudkan persekitaran yang selamat di tempat kerja. Ini advisory, ya, menggalakkan. Kita menggalakkan sebab saya dah bincang tadi Menteri Kewangan, Governor Bank Negara, mengimbangi antara kesihatan awam dan pemulihan ekonomi.
Besides the advisory to work from home, Khairy also said that employers should provide high-quality face masks for employees and provide better ventilation at workplace. The Malaysian Employees Federation, MEF, meanwhile, has called on stakeholders to cooperate with the government to tackle the Omicron wave. This includes the implementation of the work-from-home policy and creating a safe environment for employees.
MEF is very concerned with the ever-increasing number of new infections, and today it breached the 11,000 new cases. And of course, this is something that we should try to avoid. MEF hopes that all the stakeholders will cooperate with the government in trying to control the spread of Omicron.
The national employers' body also welcomed the government's move not to revert to lockdowns despite the surge in new COVID-19 cases.
MEF is thankful to the government for giving the assurance that whatever happened this time around, the government will not shut down the economy, and that will give more confidence for the businesses to move forward.
From the employer's point of view, the current strategies put in place by the government can help efforts to combat the aggressive COVID-19 variant.
MEF hopes that the government can enhance the vaccination program, especially to the higher risk group as far as boosters are concerned. And we also hope that the government can encourage more testing to be done by the rakyat.
Meanwhile, as for the workers, some of them believe the implementation of working from home would benefit both employers and employees.
It's very good for the workers and the people. I mean, they'll be safer at home, but still can work and still contributing to the company. So we can say that it got pros and cons lah.
However, some said it would prevent them from carrying out their work effectively due to lack of equipment at home, while some others might have to cancel their appointments with clients.
For me, work from home is good actually because we do not contact anyone. But for us ourselves, because we are working at call center, it's quite difficult for us actually.
I think work from home, depending on which position. For salespeople, I think they can't. They still have to meet clients and so on. But if they have a process in place, I think it is doable.
As for public transport users, many of them expressed fear of getting infected, as it is hard for them to practice physical distancing, especially during peak hours.
I think we should add more train and make the schedule for the train more efficiently, which means because they know that mostly people in KL use public transport to go to work. I think they can make maybe every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes increase the train. So for us, for seat in the capacity, to us to take care of our distancing between our.
Quite afraid, but since we've been vaccinated, so I'm not that worried that much because even if I'm infected, it won't be that bad. Yeah, we can make sure the train is not always full. Even if it's crowded, you shouldn't enter. Make sure there's some space and all that. Yeah.
While there are concerns on the soaring number of new COVID-19 cases, mid-tier companies feel that there should not be any distraction in the government's focus towards economic revival.
Today, February 7, 2022, we have 11,034 cases and rising. YBKJ forecasted that there will be 30,000 cases per day in March if Omicron is not suppressed. And I agree with him. Since we cannot hide from it, and neither can we run from it, the best way forward is to accept it and to learn to live with it. COVID-19 will eventually become endemic. My message to our governments is that we must balance between life and livelihood. I'm glad to know that YB Azmin Ali had announced that there will be no lockdown because it had been seen in the past that lockdowns do not work. And it also has a huge impact on both the financial as well as psychological aspect of our rakyat. KKM has also advised, although not mandatory, for employers to implement work from home in the company's best interests.
Piala AFF bawah 23. Semarakkan sokongan anda untuk Harimau Malaya. Hanya di TV9.
Individuals who tested positive for COVID-19 and are in categories 1 and 2A but not at high risk do not need to go to the COVID-19 Assessment Center, CAC. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah instead said the individuals need to do self-monitoring through the health assessment tool available on the MySejahtera application. In a Facebook posting, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said the individuals will receive a call or SMS from the automated voice recording service if they have not or do not carry out their daily self-monitoring. Meanwhile, he said individuals who are positive and in category 2B and above, whether at high risk or not or have worsening symptoms, are required to go to the nearest CAC or hospital for further examination without waiting for a phone call from the center. Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said individuals who are required to go to the nearest CAC for further evaluation will be notified via MySejahtera or contacted by CAC via SMS or phone call. The isolation period for COVID-19 positive individuals who are asymptomatic and have completed vaccination is 7 days, while 10 days for symptomatic cases or those with either incomplete vaccination or have not been inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine. Category 1 is for patients who are asymptomatic, while Category 2A is for those with symptoms, such as sore throat or flu without fever or shortness of breath, cough without fever or shortness of breath, loss of sense of taste but still have appetite, loss of sense of smell, diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, fatigue but can still do daily activities, muscle aches but can still do daily activities. Category 2B is for those with persistent fever for 2 days or more, breathing difficulty when doing activities, chest pain, loss of appetite, tiredness, or experiencing worsening symptoms such as cough, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea, low level of consciousness, and less urination within 24 hours. The newly launched Kedah Rubber City, KRC, is set to attract potential investment worth 10 billion ringgit and create 15,000 job opportunities by 2025. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the launch of the KRC project was timely as the country was in the recovery process and its economic growth had been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
KRC bakal menarik pelaburan berpotensi bernilai 10 bilion ringgit dan mewujudkan 15,000 peluang pekerjaan menjelang tahun 2025. Projek ini juga bakal memberikan pelbagai limpahan manfaat kepada masyarakat setempat. Walaupun baru saja dilancarkan, KRC sehingga kini telah berjaya menarik pelaburan komited sebanyak 4 bilion ringgit yang bakal menjana hampir 7,000 peluang pekerjaan kepada keluarga Malaysia.
The Prime Minister said this at the launching ceremony in Padang Terap on Monday. Earlier, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri had chaired the NCIA 28th Council meeting, which was also attended by Datuk Seri Sanusi, Perlis Menteri Besar, Datuk Seri Azlan Man, Perak Menteri Besar, Datuk Seri Sarani Muhammad, and Pulau Pinang Chief Minister Chow Kon Yao. The Prime Minister said that KRC, strategically located along the rubber belt area of the Malaysia-Thailand border, would cultivate stronger regional cooperation and integration between the two countries, as well as serving as a driver in connecting major rubber producers in the region under the Indonesia-Malaysia-Thailand Growth Triangle IMT-GT platform. According to him, KRC will also be a rubber product innovation center to support downstream and upstream activities for the sector. The industrial park's development covers an area spanning 503 hectares, consisting of 201 hectares under Phase 1 and 302 hectares in Phase 2. Still to come, MACC raids MARA offices over alleged power abuse. Welcome back. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, on Monday raided several Majlis Amanah Rakyat, MARA offices over alleged integrity issues involving a number of senior officers. According to an MACC source, the raids were conducted at both the MARA and MARA Corporation headquarters and at a corporate secretary company. It is understood that the raids were for the purpose of collecting documents related to power abuse linked to several offices at the agencies, which went viral on social media. On Saturday, the MACC confirmed that it had received a report on alleged integrity issues involving several senior officers of MARA who were being investigated internally. The MACC informed that it took the allegation seriously and that an investigation would begin on Monday by taking statements from several witnesses from MARA Corporation. The investigation is conducted under Section 23(1) of the MACC Act 2009, relating to the offence of any public body officer who uses his or her position to obtain bribes. A laundry shop assistant pleaded not guilty at the Shah Alam Sessions Court to deceiving an individual into believing that he could secure a pipeline replacement project in Terengganu 4 years ago. Harisham Abdul Wahid, aged 48, entered the plea after the charge was read out to him before Judge Rosila Saleh. According to the charge, Harisham was alleged to have deceived a 41-year-old man into handing over 100,000 ringgit to help secure an engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning of the gas pipeline replacement project from Petronas Gas Berhad. He was alleged to have committed the offence in April 2018. The offence, framed under Section 417 of the Penal Code, provides an imprisonment for up to 5 years or a fine or both if found guilty. The court allowed the accused bail of 8,000 ringgit with one surety, as well as the public prosecutor's application to transfer the case to the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court to be heard with 4 other charges under Section 417 on February 21st. Australia reopens its borders to international tourists. This and more right after this break. Onto the foreign front. Thailand will have talks on bilateral travel bubble arrangements with China and Malaysia later this month as part of efforts to bolster a steady recovery in its crucial tourism sector. According to officials, an agreement with Thailand would determine the number of people allowed in the exchange, including protocols for visas, travel and insurance, adding China had agreed to discuss the tourist exchange. It comes a week after Thailand reinstated its test and go travel scheme for vaccinated arrivals of all nationalities with health insurance who can skip quarantine if COVID-19 tests are negative. Southeast Asia's holiday hotspots have suffered billions in lost business from the lack of tourists from mainland China, which previously has yet to agree any travel bubble arrangements. In the meantime, Australia will reopen its borders to tourists from February 21st, ending some of the world's strictest and longest-running pandemic travel restrictions. In announcing the matter on Monday, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the borders will reopen to all visa holders.
The condition is you must be double vaccinated to come to Australia. That's the rule. Everyone is expected to abide by it. And it's very important that people understand that requirement if they're seeking to come to Australia. But if you're double vaccinated, we look forward to welcoming you back to Australia.
Australia's borders slammed shut in March 2020 in the hope of protecting the island continent against a surging global pandemic. For most of the time since then, Australians have been barred from leaving, and only a handful of visitors have been granted exemptions to enter. The rules have stranded nationals overseas, split families, hammered the country's multi-billion-dollar tourist industry, and prompted often bitter debates about Australia's status as a modern, open, and outward-looking nation. Over in Indonesia, at least 13 people were killed and dozens more injured after a tour bus carrying factory workers to a beach holiday crashed on Java Island. According to authorities, the incident occurred when the driver lost control of the vehicle while going downhill, causing the bus to tip over and slam into the side of the road. The driver was among those who died, and at least 34 others were injured in the incident. It was said that the bus and its 47 passengers was en route to a family gathering in neighboring Yogyakarta from Sukoharjo in central Java when the incident occurred. Initial investigation revealed that there's an indication the brake was not functioning or faulty, and an investigation into the incident has been launched. Sports. National alpine skier Arwin Salehuddin ended her first challenge in the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics by being in the top 40 in Run 2 of the women's giant slalom event on Monday. Despite unable to take home any medal, Arwin deserves a pat on her back as she managed to improve her position from 46th place in Run 1 to finish in 38th place out of 60 skiers by setting a time of 2 minutes and 12.28 seconds for both Run 1 and Run 2. The 17-year-old, who created history as the first Malaysian women's athlete to compete in the Winter Olympics, had earlier recorded 1 minute 6.13 seconds in Run 1. In Run 2, the debutante appeared unnerved and did not even fall or slip while descending the near vertical hill, clocking 1 minute and 6.15 seconds. It's not the end of the road for Arwin, as she will have another chance to prove her mettle in the women's slalom event on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Sarah Hector, who emerged the fastest skier in Run 1, continued her domination in Run 2 as the Swede blazed her way to clinch gold medal. 29-year-old Hector finished her 2 runs on the Ice River course at the Yanqing Alpine Skiing Center in a combined time of 1 minute, 55.69 seconds, 0.28 seconds quicker than Federica Brignon of Italy. Switzerland's Lara Gut-Behrami was third, 0.72 seconds behind Hector. Another national alpine skier, Jeffrey Webb, is scheduled to compete in the men's slalom event on February 16th. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah on Monday attended the Royal Malaysia Police anti-terrorism demonstration and witnessed a special operation, followed by a demonstration of PDRM security assets. The demonstration was carried out by 220 personnel from the VAT 69 Commando Unit, Special Action Unit, UTK Commando Team, and General Operations Forces Tiger Platoon. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thanks for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.